Honorable McGluwa, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Speaker, ons hoor dagelijks op televisie, radio en ons lees dikwels in die koerante en op Facebook hoe mense hulle misnoë uitspreek oor die toestand van ons land. Suid-Afrikaners is besig om vertroue te verloor in ons. Hierdie land het soveel gedaanteverwisselinge ondergaan, so baie diagnostiese planne en uiteindelik die nasionale ontwikkelingsplan. Nieteenstaande hierdie planne is die gebrek aan implementering en korrupsie aan die orde van die dag. If the government fails to clamp down on corruption, how can we expect South Africa to have any confidence in President Jacob Zuma? The President's address supposedly provided a progress report on the 860 billion rand of government spent. This was the classical trick of a double counting because these were funds that were already spent in 2009. But you failed to inform us how much money was lost on these projects because of corruption. The President also missed a golden opportunity to clarify if he actually condoned the 206 million upgrade of his Nkandla compound. The Minister of Public Service on my question number 972 in April last year regarding the ministerial handbook response was that the handbook will be finalized in mid-2012. In 2009, the President established one of his famous task team to review the ministerial handbook. 4 years later, this has not been done, and some of our ministers continue to spend taxpayers' monies extravagantly on office upgrades and other perks. Kimunati mo parlamente. Parliament also remains in the dark about the so-called presidential handbook. Mr. Maharaj, whose criminal case was withdrawn by the Scorpions in 2009, informed Radio 702 that there was no presidential handbook. What a contradiction. If this is true, my advice to the Deputy President is, be careful, somebody might have just set you up. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa was recently asked about the implementation of the Integrity Commission. What's the space? Was his laid-back response as if he was speaking about the next season of a soap opera? How can South Africans have trust in commissions like this when the government continues to shower rewards on those who are politically connected? One of the most powerful examples of corruption is worth comparing to that of President Jacob Zuma's complacence in fighting corruption within his own government. The British parliamentary expenses scandal makes a powerful point of comparison where 25 public representatives involved either resigned, retired, or announced they would not stand again. This includes the Speaker of the House of Commons. Why is this significant? It is because public servants should be held to the highest standards of integrity and ethics. The Honourable Speaker informed this House in 2011 that Parliament had failed to recoup 12 million rand owed by errant travel gate MPs. And it was decided to write the debt off. Some of these MPs remain here today. The crisp point is that several MPs who were convicted for corrupt activities or fraud still have cushy jobs within the government and the ruling party. Some of them head up important entities in government. Mr. Speaker, this is a question of political leadership. The presidential leadership, the buck stops with him. A case in point was the opportunistic appointment of Advocate Manzi Similani, which clearly ran counter to the interest of the justice system. Section 218 of the Companies Act bars any person who has been found guilty of fraud and sentenced to prison without a suspended sentence from being a director of a company. Yet, befitting this president's unique style of leadership, Tony Ngeni is heading up the ANC's political and misnamed school of thought. Mr. Ngeni was found guilty of corruption, and he only resigned his directorship after unprecedented public pressure. And those who admitted to guilt were never censored by the ANC. On the contrary, Patrick Molloy, for example, was an ANC candidate in 2009. Bruce Kannemeyer was rewarded as a municipal manager position. and the President government often seem content to stay just inside the law. But the President fails to understand the absence of ethics in itself, a form of de facto corruption. Take the E350 Mercedes-Benz that was meant to be delivered to the then Klokwe Potchefstroom ANC mayor, costing the taxpayers more than 700,000 rand. The new DA, who was appointed after a motion of no confidence was passed against the ANC administration, sent that car back. In the Northern Cape, John Block for years mined salt in the Kalahari with a fraudulent mining license. In KwaZulu-Natal, the Manasseh report has exposed unethical behavior by ANC officials on a massive scale. Once again, this report was then suppressed from public view. Then in the Northwest, the Social Development MEC used 170,000 rand worth of taxpayers' money to attend the ANC elective conference in December to cast her vote to re-elect President Jacob Zuma as the president of the ANC. Yet some of them still remain in office. This list goes on and on and on. Honorable Speaker, the South African people do not have confidence in the president who looks away while the tentacles of corruption spread through our public life. He fails to understand that the importance of politics to government lies in the ethics and moral compass which he and only he can provide. I thank you.
I thank the honourable member.